Yes, setting the Paralympic and world record of 4:08.146 for this men's B 4,000 metre individual pursuit. What an intriguing character he is. Joined the development squad, the British development squad, in 2013. And that was after achieving some extraordinary results. And we'll get onto that in a moment. But moved from Scotland with his wife to Manchester to get closer to the velodrome in Manchester, one of the best in the world. And it is doing wonders. Here is, again, from Netherlands, Vincent ter Schure. And now Steve Bate being introduced to the crowd. His pilot is Adam DUGGLEBY. Look at the picture of concentration here. A few last-minute thoughts. So a big deep breath from Adam DUGGLEBY, the pilot, with Steve Bate with him. The race for gold. Great Britain v Netherlands.
And gee, the Dutch have had a strong showing in the session today.
They have indeed. Here's ter Schure, the 36-year-old who was runner-up on the road in World Championships last year on the track, 5th in this event. So this is a terrific result for ter Schure to be racing for gold at the Paralympic Games in 2016. His opponent is Steve Bate from Great Britain.
And he has a very, very slim edge at the moment, but very, very slim, 0.057 of a second. And it's just, we've just switched leads. So early on in the race, there's not a lot in it.
Yes, you just get the impression those little gaps are going to fluctuate. It's out to 0.39, but that is not a great deal really in the early stages of 4,000 metres. The man on screen at the moment, Steve Bate. He became the first visually impaired person to solo climb the El Capitan in Yosemite in June 2013, and after he conquered that, he wanted to conquer something else, and that was track cycling, joining the development squad in 2013. And here he is, competing for a gold medal. At this stage, ter Schure is now behind Bate, who's in front by 0.8 of a second as they complete 1,500 metres of the race.
So stretching that lead ever so slightly now, just over 0.9 of a second in front. Can he build on this? 0.994, ever so slightly, continuing to creep up, almost at the halfway mark.
We'll get a really good gauge at the 2,000 metre mark here, which is halfway in this men's B 4,000 metre individual pursuit. So teamwork, endurance required. 207.202 for Bate and 208.478 for ter Schure. So Bate has a margin here after trailing in the first 700 metres or so. Really strong mid-race.
And they just look like they're working so well together, Bate and his pilot. So about 1.5 seconds in it at the moment. Just over halfway.
Yeah, 1.538. Well, that's a telling margin now for Bate. Just needs to hold on. The lactic acid will just start to creep in shortly, heading towards 3,000 metres. Now 1.598 seconds is the distance between the two combinations in this gold medal race, heading towards the 3,000 metre mark. And this is where it gets tough. You can see the look of determination for Adam DUGGLEBY. He knows the gold medal's right there if they want it. They just need to hold on.
And Steve Bate and DUGGLEBY just seem to be working so well together. And considering Steve Bate has only been paracycling for 3 years, it's an extraordinary performance. Really, it's more of a performance of a seasoned campaigner. less so somebody who's at their first Paralympic Games.
Well, Bates certainly holding on because it's 1.7 seconds now and is holding that margin with 500 metres to go. Team Great Britain, it's going to be another success.
Final lap now, closing stages of the race. Steve Bate.
Now keep in mind the world record, his own world record, is 4:08.146. So can he topple that again? He set that earlier in the day. Here's the finish, 4:08.631, just outside by half a second, but they've won it by over a second. Gold medal to Steve Bate and Great Britain.
And that is Great Britain's third gold medal of this track cycling session. Extraordinary result. They've really laid down the challenge to all other competitors here in Rio. I mean, what a standard today, and Steve Bate will be absolutely thrilled, and DUGGLEBY, they will be celebrating.
So 4 gold medals up for grabs today, 3 of them won by Great Britain, and has really set the theme for what we will see over 4 days of track cycling here at Rio 2016. But it wasn't the quickest of starts by Steve Bate and his pilot Adam DUGGLEBY, but was able to just keep in touch and then just gradually hold that margin, and no worries about the endurance.
It is interesting, as I said, they do seem to be racing as if they are extremely experienced together, to not panic and blow out the legs early on when you know that you've got perhaps a poorer start than you would have wished. They did trail for about the first 3 or so laps, the first 750, but then took the lead and built on it ever so gradually, and it wasn't a huge margin in the end, but it was a decisive margin.
Yeah, no worries about the fitness. He's an adventurer, he's a motivational speaker, he's an athlete and an inspiration. Steve Bate and his partner Adam DUGGLEBY, the pilot, #1, he says to the crowd. And certainly Great Britain are, after the first day of track cycling, with 3 gold medals.